Hello, this is your host, Lakota Ravoc, and welcome back to TIMBERBORN. Now, I know I said that we would come back and we would see the entire top part laid out, but this is taking a very long time to do, and I had an idea while I was laying all this out that if I'm going to move all my beavers, I need to build this section out first. Basically, I need to get all the beavers on top of the water, build out the trees and the food up here as a temporary measure, and get them all above ground or above the flood. So that's what we're doing today. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to destroy some things in order to do that, like these water pumps here, and move them. But for the time being, they should be okay right where they are. So this is going to get interesting and probably a little sloppy. Well, first things first, we need to build out the walls on the sides here and then build out the front. So let's see what we can do. We can actually move blue cheese up above. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I know I don't do back-to-back videos normally, but I just got this in my head and I said, you know what? I think I need to do this. So in order to put this district center down, I'm going to have to put it off a little bit. Just gonna put it right there for right now. And we have to change blue cheese from being down here. So let's go take a look down. And we're going to cut blue cheese off here. What I have to do is connect the road back up to this district center. And that should have attached everything. And now everyone should be attached to this new district center. Ooh, except for a couple of buildings. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to get rid of blue cheese altogether, and we'll just move it. And this is going to be our new blue cheese. Okay, now we got a district center up above. We're going to have to actually build everything up here now. First, let's start by making a couple of apartments. One there, and one right next to that with some stairs. Stop taking products in to these buildings, at least for the time being, and we're just going to move them up above because we're actually going to make a larger warehouse, like storage center up above. Let's build a large pile right here. Water storage tank right there. Get some builder huts down. They got some food warehouses here, and a couple of more large piles for treated planks and the metal blocks, and one right here for regular planks. That should be everything we need. We just need to get them to build all that stuff. So let's high prioritize all this. Now, if you happen to see some stuttering, I get very, very low FPS right now because of all the little holograms to build everything. So it just tanks me like so hard. It literally takes about 10 minutes to boot up this save file. It's nuts. We're going to start laying down the foundations over here for our super wall. And we're just covering up all the sluice gates that we have because they're going to try and draw the water out when it's a bad tide from down below. We have quite a few, so it should help out a lot. Then we're going to line the entire top area with sluice gates. This is going to let fresh water through. Now, if it's strong enough, that fresh water is going to build up and it's going to overflow and hopefully go out the next area, but I have no guarantee of that. I have to kill this right here, this farmhouse, and get rid of all of these carrots. Unfortunately, we need the space. Add a couple of platforms and hopefully top it off with some glorious, glorious dirt. I need to extend this a little further or add a little extra to it. Ooh, I think I got lucky. That is the bad water channel part of it topped off. We just need to high prioritize all of it. We're building this interior here for the next area, like so, and just put dirt on top of all that. So we've got the houses completed, and we've got one of them already staired up, so we can start destroying the houses down below. Otherwise, we're going to have a beaver boom. Some of them might sleep outside for a little while, but that's okay. And we're still going to have to move that district crossing that's down below here. So I'm thinking of moving it up here and giving ourselves a little extra space somehow. Might have to staircase it up, though, just for a temporary solution. Yeah, I think that'll work out just fine. That'll allow us to get goods from ranch over to blue cheese and destroy everything down below. Nice, they got a lot of the storages in already, and we've almost got the builders' huts done, so we're going to start destroying things down below. Until we get everything built, we're just going to leave the staircase and these 2 water pumps down here. But we will have to take out this set of stairs and build some levees there. That's gonna put a hamper in production. So ultimately, the goal this session is to get all the beavers up here in this area, cover all this up, and make a functional farm and forestry area, and move all the production over here. So that way we can craft all the blocks, lumber, everything that we need, and build everything from up top. And basically abandon the lower area. I've also concocted a possibly really dumb idea for getting the water up into the, what was it, man-made, beaver-made river. That's going to go down these channels right here and into the city center and off the other sides of the map. And that is by building a little inlet, a little pipe right here that goes up and into that little channel. So water will fill in and pressure should build it up and bring it up and over, allowing me to block the water from coming in completely. Because impermeable floors are great, but there's a chance that the water's not going to fill up all the way to the top. So I need pressure to push it in. And I think I have an idea for it. So once we get this all cleared out, we'll be able to build that. I have covered over what I can, except for a couple of gaps which need to be filled in once things are cleared out. But this should allow us to get food and trees. Now that we have a really large surface, we can actually see the scope of some of these things. Like the forester hut is huge. It has a large area space that it can actually plant in. And the same goes for those farmhouses. They are massive. So there's a large area that they can actually work in. All right, our little guys are clearing out the way so we can actually start putting down some more platforms. This little gap here, which is not a big deal right now because that's just for the river. We've got a whole thing ready to go. We have a little gap here, but that's not going to be a big deal. And we've got a little entrance way so we can start moving things. So I think we did pretty good with this. And nighttime hits here and the beavers stop moving back and forth. We're going to destroy this bridge. And we're going to build that little pipe inlet that's going to move water upwards. So I think we're good now. Let's go and destroy that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a small little channel. Nothing too big. It goes around and fills up this whole area. Now, the one downfall is I need to move those. These 2 spots are going to be sluice gates. They're only going to let water in. They're going to keep the bad water out. That way, it won't come up the pipe. There we go. A little 2x1 channel that lets the water come up. And if the pressure's enough, it should fill this up and not let it overflow, but let it go down the river. And with 3 of these endpoints at the other walls, it should build up and go out the actual dam. In theory, this is going to be a huge test when this is all built. It'll be more decorative than anything else, but we'll be able to get water from the river as a source. So this area is eventually going to become our water collection area. And what I might do is down at the end, instead of this being like an outlet, I might change this so that there's large water pumps down at the bottom and water can freely flow back into the Great Flood. So we'll be taking some of these away and letting the spouts go all the way down into the actual flooded area. In theory, it sounds good. Practicality, not so sure. But we can get some water collection up here for the time being. But once this actually gets built, they're going to want to start collecting water because water's going to start flowing through this. It's going to come out here because we're not damming this area up yet. And that's okay. We'll get a couple on either side and just link them up like so. And this way transportation is really easy because they're right next to 2 zipline stations. So immediate access, straight in and out. And then once they're built and water comes up, we can pretty much destroy the ones down below. Once this all gets built, we can then finally move everyone up here and get everyone from down below out of the flood zone. and start building the mega project, which might just turn into a time-lapse thing, because currently the channel dam is working great and I don't have to worry about bad tides coming into the water. So I just might pin it back, let it run, and watch them build once I get everything set up. All right, they got the 4 builders posts already built. And all they have is a few more gears left for the medium tank, a few more planks for the district crossing, and we'll be golden. Everything will be done up here. And we've successfully moved blue cheese up above the flood. All right, I need to now start building the rest of this wall out so that we can block off the rest of the channel. And that's not a big concern because these sluice gates are still active, so they will continually release that water until we shut them off. Once we shut them off, it'll start filling up and our entire channel will be just a massive reservoir of water. Since I got this all laid out, I'm going to let this run for a little while and let them build. I do have to build this last little bit of wall, but I'm not doing that yet because they're moving products at the moment. So I'll probably get that done in a little while, and then we'll show you the end result. All right, welcome back. We are finally done. As you can see here, they've made progress, and we've completed the entire channel dam. So just put regular dam pieces at the top, see how that works. We've cut off all the openings in the back. That way water can't escape. And anywhere where there's an actual water source, water does not go out the back. It just goes forward. So there's going to be pressure. The only place the water can escape is going to be where the bad water is going out. And we should hopefully have enough of these sluice gates to make that happen. So once we get our first bad tide, that'll be the big test. I've got that pipe set up, and you can see it's full of water right now, but we haven't actually tested the pressure pushing the water out. I may have to adjust this thing so that it has these mechanical fluid pumps bringing the water out, and I've already kind of figured out how to do that. So we'll just see what happens. As you can see, I've got a tree farm set up over here with a couple of lumberjack flags and a tapper shack. And then right over here, we have our farm with a bunch of carrots and sunflower seeds on this side, potatoes and wheat on this side. The one thing I haven't taken in account for is the spatter dock and the cattails. So I'm going to have to adjust my channel so that it's a little bit lower and actually use terrain to block off the bottom. That way I can plant cattails and spatter dock in the channel itself. Most likely down here near the bottom, right? So this, because I haven't completely built this, this is probably where it's going to go. So I think my left corner is going to be the forestry. The right corner is going to be the farm. We're going to divide this into corners, into sections here, the 4 quadrants. You can see I've kind of laid out a basic setup for each quadrant. So we're going to have 4 district centers, 1 at each corner, with some housing that can be easily upgraded and brought up so that we can have a lot of beavers. But starting off with 4 houses, we're going to have a total of 36 beavers. They're all going to have their own zipline station, so they'll be able to get to their jobs. And these are going to spread out kind of around the whole network. So this will be like the end point. And then I've made spaces near the houses for the farmer monument and the brazier of bonding. The fountain of joy can actually fit right here in this back corner. And that's not a bad thing because these zipline stations are going to go horizontally and vertically. So they're not going to go at a corner. So that should keep the fountain of joy from interfering with the zipline station. And then the earthwork cultivator, I haven't quite figured out what I want to do with that yet. We're going to figure that one out later. I figure my top left corner is going to be resources and supplies, and my top right corner is probably going to be manufacturing. So it's going to be massive. This is going to be a huge beaver settlement. I'm probably going to make just massive tiers of houses because we're going to need so many beavers. It's just going to kind of grow as we do this, but we need to see if this works first. So let's shut off these sluice gates. We only need to open them now if we absolutely need to. So they are not going to let the water flow anymore. Let's go ahead and shut that off. Go down a couple of levels and we're going to watch this water flow in. You can see here it's already raising up really fast. When we get to this top level, we'll probably go back up to the surface level and see how it looks. But I want to see how it comes out. Now I am worried. And you can see it's kind of stuttering because I've got so much, it's just making this frame rate crap out. I am worried about this zipline station because I did put dam pieces here. So it's going to flood that. I might have to move this somewhere else. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to flood that over. Oh, maybe we'll get lucky and it won't flood it. That would be awesome if it goes around. Okay, so these sluice gates are now letting water out this way, but it's letting more water out than it's coming in, which makes no sense because that should not be happening. I might have to shut these off. It should not be letting that much water out. Oh, wait a minute. It's starting to overflow a little.
Bye, have a great time.
Nope. Okay, we're just going to shut them off. That's going to pressurize this whole thing, and it's going to force that water out. You can see those lines are hitting the top of the map right now. Let's reset this map, and water is flowing out the pipe. Not very fast, but it is flowing. That zipline station's still functioning. Maybe zipline stations don't get affected by floods. That's going to be awesome. They can still use it. Okay, so water's built up. It's pressurized. It's coming out the top here. Not a lot, unfortunately. It's not coming out a lot. So we may have to just go ahead and use those mechanical pumps up here. But there's also nothing stopping the water and not letting it build up. So it's probably going to stay pretty thin right now, which is okay. The pressurized pipe does work, as you can see. It does let water up. So what I may have to do is change these to levees because it's letting all the water out over here, which is the first exit point. And that's how water works. Water goes to the first exit point that it can find. It is kind of normalizing. It may just take a minute to normalize, but water is flowing out around the whole thing, which is great. Now, because we haven't built up the entire wall, that means water's still going to flow naturally. It's probably going to give us a lot more pressure to these water wheels. That means they're going to produce, yeah, they're producing a lot more power now. We may get some flooding. It's possible. And this underground pile is now pretty much just moot, but that's okay. But it looks like, from what I can tell, that this is a success. The only thing that it got affected by was these. So we may have to change these sluice gates to close below contamination and let them flow out the water here. Because if they're open, they drop the water level instantly and stops the water going out of the dams like this. Because for some reason, sluice gates have a lower exit point than the dams. And I remember during the testing phase before sluice gates came out on regular play that they had a exit point just like the dam pieces where they were much higher up. Now they're much lower. So this may actually help us save our beavers. Now, unfortunately, that means when bad water hits, bad water is going to be really built up in here and it's going to kill anything up above. So the area up top is a temporary solution. This is not going to be where we're going to be growing food and trees. I mean, the whole idea was that hopefully we could get this filled up, and the only way I could do that is if I put levees here and sluice gates to let the water out when it's bad tide and close them when it's not and fill this up with normal water. And I'm really not too worried about that. The crops that we have above right here are not going to grow. They're not going to get any water. Right here, they'll probably get some water, not the rest of the map. And that's fine. That is okay. All right, so we're not getting enough pressure because these sluice gates are open. So we're going to change this so that they are automatic now, and they're going to shut off when there's not a bad tide, and this will increase the pressure around the whole thing. Now, unfortunately, because the water is not touching the ground below, that's going to make it a little more difficult to grow things. So it works, but it doesn't work. There's not enough pressure to keep the water touching the ground from below. So this temporary solution is going to be a little rusty. I was hoping that with the water being up just below it, that it would be fine, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. The water's not touching the ground, doesn't allow crops to grow. And the only way to do that would be to make these into floodgates. So we may have to redo this and spend another 30 cycles. I literally spent about 30 cycles of this game having them build this. Anyway, we will be able to flood the map. That's for certain. but we may have to make some changes to this. For now, I'm gonna let this water back out. But for a test, not terrible. I'll have to fill this up when we get a bad tide, when we know there's a bad tide coming. And I might make all these dam pieces into floodgates instead and keep the water at a maximum level, which isn't a bad idea. Now that I think about it, I can actually put floodgates around the whole thing, raise their level up so that they are just above this ground line, like just take this ground out completely, and it would keep the pressure maxed out. That would probably work. I think that'll be for another day. We're just gonna let them continue on as they are and build the rest of the map out up above. And we'll change these into floodgates later and see how that works. One way or another, we are going to be able to flood this map and we're going to make a spectacular view out of this whole thing. I may have to change the outside edge though, now that I think about this. Or maybe I just make tributaries where all the trees and plants are going to be. That might be a better way to go. I'm excited to see how this turns out. But this is going to be Lakota Ravoc signing off. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye. What was that? You're welcome, buddy.